So like when you are being authentically you and you've tapped into your kind of creative intelligence, that your brand is going to naturally grow. And my question to you is, my hypothesis is that part of the reason of that brand growth is because your audience really resonates with that. They
Mm.
are getting it. And that's why it feeds into brand growth. And I wanted to know if you also felt that same way about my hypothesis. Is that
Yes,
a little
no,
bit
I
more clear,
love that. And
hopefully?
I definitely agree with that in one capacity where like that feedback from your audience is, obviously a sign that they're really aligning and they're really vibing with that
Yeah.
direction you're stepping into. But then I would also put out there and say that it's not a negative thing if your audience doesn't respond positively or if you start to lose
Mhm.
followers with a change. Because sometimes you can go through like a bit of a pivot where you're like, okay, what I've been doing is no longer authentic to me. This is the new direction, which now feels more authentic to me. But the entire audience you built was in alignment with that previous version of brand or self, right? And so just because you may be pivoting and then people may not like this pivot or resonate with this pivot as much does not mean that that is feedback that it is not right. All that means is it's feedback that the current audience you have might not be 100% aligned with that direction that you're going in. And then you've got to ask yourself the question of, okay, well, if this is the direction I want to go, am I okay with letting go of people and followers who are no longer aligned with where I'm going now? It's kind of like when you go through like some growth spurts on a personal level. All of a sudden, you're not, you still love your friends, but some of those friends aren't fully in alignment with where you're going. And then you start to part ways. Well, that can be the same thing that happens. So, yes, I definitely agree with what you're saying, but then would also say don't just take the feedback of your audience not liking the direction or your audience unfollowing you like as a sign that what you're stepping into isn't authentic to you, because that could just be a sign that that audience that you previously were speaking to is no longer aligned with the new audience you're wanting to call in.